All right, guys. So I guess if you're tuning in today, I think I'm gonna release this as soon as possible. Probably have it time to release around 6:30, so maybe you can wake up to it. So I want to let you know that there was no wave in this election. People were saying, well, there's going to be a blue wave, there's going to be a red wave, there's going to be a, you know, I'm going to say this is the purple rain election. And the reason I would say this is very simple. Those that, and I don't think I've seen a lot of people yet calling it a blue wave, but they're going to be pointing at, for them, this is the upside 26 gains for the Democrats in the House. But the fact is that nobody that I think was really in their right mind was claiming that the Democrats were not going to gain the House. The fact is that gaining the House for the Democrats was always the easiest path to gaining to any sort of success. Okay, the House is one of the most difficult goals to defend if you hold it, because there's just so many districts, you don't know where to invest the money, and in many cases, if for example the candidate can't campaign very actively because they're in Washington all the time, then the race is pretty much lost. So I think a lot of these candidates who lost tonight, they lost for the same reason a lot of House candidates lose every time. And I also think it's partly due to the ineptitude of the House leadership with Paul Ryan. They're going to try to say that this is a reaction to Donald Trump or what have you. I'll tell you why that's not the case. Okay, and you can disagree with me. I'm fine with that. I think that. But also, by the way, whoever you voted for, I guess that was your choice. In many cases, people go to vote and they don't really have a very practical choice. In my district, for example, my congresswoman, she basically, well, I'm going to do a video on that some other time. I was supposed to do something. I was supposed to show it on the podcast for Just My Stupid Opinion. That's where we streamed tonight. It was a lot of fun, even though I had to miss a number of streams by other people. But I was really hopping from race to race. It was a very, very interesting night, and I don't think I could. I mean, I don't know how I could ever be more involved in really observing what's going on in an election here. So you have all these House seats, and in let's go to 2010 midterm elections. So you had basically the Democrats lost a massive amount of House seats. It was basically a slaughter at the time. Okay, the Republicans won 63 House seats. Did they call that a red wave at the time? Not really. And that was like a massive swing. It was something that people thought at the time was basically a slaughter. And what did they gain in the Senate? Well, the Republicans gained, I believe, six Senate seats. So the midterm elections, the first midterm elections under President Obama, were gains for the, first of all, the Republicans won the House, whereas Obama had like a massive lead in the House at the time. It was completely wiped out and much worse by the Republicans, and they were able to gain 6 seats, eat out of Obama's massive advantage in the Senate. What do you have here? You don't have anything near the amount of success for the Democrats in the House, and they're not going to. I mean, they're obviously not going to equal 63. They're at this moment, it's 2:15 in the morning here in Ohio, and the Democrats only have 26 pickups, and it's still a success because they picked up the House, but it's not by a major margin. I think that it's within 10 seats of a majority, so they're not going to be basically able to wield power in the chamber at will. They're going to have people present at nearly all the votes. It's a desirable result anyway. You don't want to lose the House again. If you're a Democrat, that is a good thing. They also picked up 5 governors' races. That for them is obviously a very good result. But they lost so far. They've lost 4 Senate races, and they have the. It looks like they're going to lose maybe 2 more, maybe 3 more. Okay, so at the moment they're basically trailing by a steadily widening margin in Arizona. Maybe I'll take a look at that more specifically in a second. And they're also this race over here in Mississippi. This is going to a runoff, so this guy Hyde Smith is going to go up against Mike Espy in a runoff at the end of the month. But the majority, so you see, it's 41.5 to 40.6. So much of the remainder is Republican. So okay, it's going to go to a runoff at the end of the month. Guess who's going to win that race? It's not going to be Espy, the Democrat. It's probably going to be the Republican. Okay, in Montana, the race is pulling away for the Republican. That's something that people have to realize. That was a race that the Democrats were counting on winning. Okay, and then the final race that's really, out right now is, well, you have Nevada, and you do see that the Democrats are, this just flipped. So we are seeing the Democrats kind of taking advantage in Nevada, but most of the results in the Democratic-friendly district are already in. So I don't know what's going to happen here in Nevada. If she can, so she has 85% of the vote in there, and she isn't really blowing him out. So it could very well be that the Republicans claim Nevada in the Senate, so they're going to hold Nevada if he's able to pull ahead, and that's not a convincing margin in Clark County where Las Vegas is. So this county over here, Lincoln County, I expect to go Republican. There's no results from here. Elko and White Pine County over here, I also expect to go Republican. Humboldt County in the north also, and these other ones along the edges, Douglas, Story, Mineral, and Esmeralda. So I'm not going to guarantee anything here, but I suspect that Dean Heller will maintain his seat here. Also, you're seeing in the governor's race, it's not a very convincing lead for the Democrat in the most Democratic county of Nevada, with 85% of the vote there. So a lot of these Democrats again, there's not a lot of precincts here. So there's only 11 here and 5 here, whereas there's a lot more in Clark County. But yeah, they're talking about 75% is outstanding in the state. Well, yeah, it could flip to the Democrats. I just think a lot of these desert wilderness counties where, yeah, there's not a lot of people, but the people that are there, I expect to go very sharply to the Republican. You have 71% here for Laxalt. This is the governor's race. 80%. So those counties are going to really, I think that they're going to be a real problem for Jackie Rosen to win, given that she only has won so far 54% in the most Democratic county in the state. You can see in Montana. Did we already talk Montana? A lot of the outstanding races, the outstanding areas are rural areas. The majority. So over here up in the north, of course, this is swinging over to Tester. I think these are kind of more, there's Indian reservations here in Hill County and Glacier County. I think that was the reason that they swung to him. And then over here in the east, they don't have many precincts left. So I think this is a very small county, to be honest with you. And over here, there's only 2 precincts as well. Over here, there's 11 districts. But most of the gray counties, the ones that are outstanding, or the ones where there's more votes yet to be counted, are in red districts. You can see here that the Republican House seat, there's only one House seat in Montana, is pretty much, I think it's a lock, by the way. There's 62%, and Greg Gianforte is leading by a comfortable margin. So I expect him to coast now. After earlier in the evening, it was much, much closer. Over here, you have more territory for Rosendale, the Republican, to gain. Lake County over here, you're going to see more votes for Tester, but it's only a 2% margin. And over here, he's winning. This is Missoula County, where the University of Montana is. So he's winning by 18% here. So there's a lot more votes for him to pick up in that one county. But the rest of the state is pretty much rounding out. There's a little more here in Helena and Bighorn County. I think there's a few more. But the rest of the state is, it's going to be difficult for him to hold off Matt Rosendale. So I do think, as of right now, that it'll be very difficult for Tester to pull out a win in Montana. And, I expect right now that the Democrats, first of all, they've already lost the Senate anyway. They've lost one more seat in the Senate. That would be the one in Missouri. Pretty much swung it. Swinging it is one story. So then they lost 2 of the very hotly contested seats that, to be honest with you, I think people knew that they were not going to win. Tennessee and Texas. Then they also lost Florida, which I think is hilarious. So they lose Florida. By the way, the Democrats now have no statewide they have no statewide officials elected in Florida. Florida is completely dominated by the GOP now. The same goes for Missouri and Indiana. So you have Missouri, which once was a very purple state, a swing state. In the past couple of cycles, it swung significantly to the Republicans. Now it's virtually dominated by the Republicans. Okay, that's not good or bad thing. I think that certainly there's flaws with Hawley and the Republican Party, not just in Missouri but around the country. Over here in Indiana, the incumbent lost. First of all, he lost by 9 points, and then another 4% went for the Libertarian. So there's your spoiler vote. They're gonna blame that. That's like really funny, by the way, that we don't ever blame the Libertarians. Those of us that are against the Democrats, we don't blame the third parties. Okay. What are some other key ones? Romney, of course, won handily in Utah. I don't think anybody was doubting that would happen. It's going to really suck watching him in the Senate. I don't miss him. Then let's look at the one in Arizona. So, yeah. Arizona. So this is Maricopa County. Which one is Pima County? Pima County is where Tucson is. And basically, Kyrsten Sinema, I believe, is from the Tucson area. And she's not exactly winning by a large margin there. Some of these other rural counties have gone definitely for McSally. See this one. This one's 69% with more precincts reporting. Pima County has about half of the vote is left, but it's going to be a tough one. It's Pinal County, that's probably going to go for McSally. Greenlee County over here, no data. Oh, we have some data. So that one is not that large. Apache County, probably going to remain with McSally. And then, so there's not much left from where Sinema can actually glean voters. In fact, Maricopa County, I would say it's not going to deliver enough for her to really swing the race. Okay, so Pima County, once again, is her stronghold, but the question is, can she close the gap using Maricopa County? It's a good question. And I've seen gradually the race has kind of widened. Originally it was like less than 0.5%, and now it's over 1.3% in favor of Martha McSally right now. So yeah, I think that we're really talking about a major failure on the part of the Democrats. If you're thinking about it, they're not going to succeed very well at leveraging themselves now that they're going to claim that there's a big blue wave going through. Well, I think that one of the areas where you could probably you see that they've already projected pretty much that Scott Walker has lost his governor's seat in Wisconsin. That would be a major win for the Democrats, and it looks like it's virtually a lock right now. So that's a major gain for the Democrats. They want to get rid of Scott Walker for years. Was it a decisive election? Not really, but still, I think you do have to hand that to the Democrats. People have to be honest with themselves and see that the Republican Party didn't exactly perform the best in a lot of these states this year, and obviously people do want change. I'm not sure why they want to go back to the way the state was run before Walker, because he has made it significantly more competitive. But we're just going to see how it starts to work now that it's probably going to be under a Democratic governor. But yeah, if the Republicans are able to close out those three races that are outstanding in the West, you're going to see basically the Republicans, yes, Trump and the Republicans are going to be unable to move any real economic legislation forward through the House, because obviously the House is going to be under Democratic control. But, and this is an important issue, any nominees that they want to get through for certain federal positions, especially judges and Supreme Court justices, cabinet members, the Democrats have almost no leverage now, because with 52 votes as of right now, and I expect that to rise by the end of the night, possibly to 55. I mean, we could count. In the Mississippi election, that's going to be decided at the end of the month. I'm almost certain that they're going to have the Republicans pull away that one. So that's going to be 53. 54 would be Rosendale over Tester. And then Nevada, if Heller can kind of negate that lead right now because of Clark County, he would end up being 50. Yeah, he would be 55. And then McSally would make it 56. So 56 to 44, the Republicans can basically steamroll the Democrats in the Senate many times. Of course, they also have, in some cases, nobody's going to care, so Joe Manchin is going to vote for their nominees anyway. So, yeah, this is not a wave election. This is we're not going to be in a good situation. The Democrats are also not going to be in a good situation. So the country is going to be in bad shape, because we're not going to be able to get a consistent budget agenda. You're going to have a lot of government shutdowns. Trump is going to be fighting back and forth with the Democrats. You're going to see a lot of really really crazy stunts, I believe. A lot of histrionics in the House. That's by the way, I'm thinking now, the next 2 years I'm going to call histrionics in the House. It's just going to be endless, not like people going up to the podium and behaving like fucking hooligans or whatever, and going nuts. Of course, the Beto O'Rourke campaign has gone down in flames, so he's going to be out of the picture for unless, of course, the media decides to kiss his ass, which it's not beyond them. They might just say, oh, he's got Cruz almost to within 3% or whatever. Yeah, within 3%. Well, so what? So what? These races are supposed to be competitive in the end. You don't want it. With all due respect to Ted Cruz, I think that he deserved to be challenged, and he defeated that challenge. Those of you that are saying, well, why is it that why is it that you're going to say that the Senate win is very significant? Look, in the end, these people who get elected to the Senate, it's a little more significant than winning the House. You know what? It's an order of magnitude more significant. Not to disparage people who run for the House, but these people get to be in office for 6 years. It's a lot of power. They basically, some of these seats, it ends up being an appointment for life. Once Matt Rosendale, if he continues to pull away, which I think he's doing already, you see there's still some precincts left in Tester supporting areas, but it's not really significant. Let's say he gets elected. Now, those middle of the road voters that were once Tester supporters, I don't think that they're not really going to support the next Democrat that runs in Montana if he's not offering them something that's much different from what Rosendale does. Those states out west, Wyoming, Montana, Idaho, what's another one? Nebraska. Nebraska's a little more in the it's a little more in the Great Plains, but you get what I'm saying. Those states, a lot, you don't really see a lot of states flipping very often. So yeah, what Donald Trump is basically getting in the Senate, although it doesn't necessarily benefit him in the long run because we don't know how long he's going to be living, but Donald Trump is going to have a massive group of people in the Senate that are not going anywhere, and the Democrats are going to have to defend a lot of these gains in 2020. And speaking of 2020, the Democrats are going to have a rough time up until then trying to decide what their agenda is. Are they still going to be this super identity politics, race-based campaigning party, or are they going to be more into the labor and trade issues, which they don't really seem to care about for right now? And then you have to wonder, who's their leadership going to be? Are they going to keep this this senile Nancy Pelosi at the top of the ticket? She's Speaker of the House if she can get reelected as one. By the way, there's going to be, if the margin is razor thin in the House. Okay, let's say the Democrats win. Right now it says that the Republicans are losing 26 seats. Okay, so that, I would say, gives the Democrats, if I'm not mistaken, a 3-seat majority in the House, pending a number of results. But if they have such a small number, then a lot of the radical members of the Democratic caucus could simply say, well, we want to vote for somebody else. We don't even want Nancy Pelosi. That could end up putting into the speaker slot somebody who's kind of crazy. One of these people who's really a bomb-throwing radical. So anyway, that's about it. I did want to kind of wrap up my thoughts based on what's going on right now. Obviously, a few of these races could go the other way. I didn't know Scott Walker would go officially to, he's done now. I didn't know that race would be decided while I was doing the video. But I guess it's time to say goodbye to him. And yeah, I'm not from Wisconsin, but I don't think that it bodes well for that state's economy. So anyway, please like this video, share the video, subscribe to this channel, subscribe to my other channel, Razor Ray Live Wounds, and comment when it uploads.